It's hard work, but somebody has to save the world from the Maverick. So I've decided to put on my superhero cape and to launch into battle again. So let me say it loud and clear, Maverick, you're wrong again. What is he wrong about this time? Stay tuned to find out. I'm Dionne Jackson Miller. Thanks for joining me. You probably saw a video I did in which I said that Oral Tracey the Maverick was wrong in comments he made about Jamaican Olympian Janelle Bromfield being afraid to come home. She said she was being bullied online about her boyfriend Noah Lyles, and then Oral did a video in response to me. Now, I'm not going back to the Janelle Bromfield issue. I said what I said, and I was right in what I said. And if you all watch the video, they want to know I was right. So the thing is, though, in responding to me, Oral went wrong again. Let me just say this, though, before I tell you where he went wrong, right? Because I see people in the comments under both the videos saying, I won the argument or Oral won the argument, and I really was enjoying the comments and the feedback. Let me just say this, though. You have to be careful what you're using to measure who wins. Because if the conversation is about who shouts louder, Oral is always going to beat me on this. We see this in the newsroom all the time. But when it comes to facts and argument, that's where I have it over Oral. So when you watch videos, make sure that that is what you're checking. All right? That is what you're assessing. Facts and argument, not loud noise. Anyway, in the process of responding to me, as I said, Oral lost his way again. And really and truly, somebody needs to buy the Maverick a compass. Because he ever get lost. Oral, tell me, when is your birthday, boss? We'll buy you a compass, Or Christmas is coming up. Maybe I'll buy one then. And I'll present it to you on cam and show our YouTube viewers. What do you think? Oral need a compass? Yes or no? Okay, so here's what Oral said. He said, Dionne, he says, I have a low bar for what I call abuse. Well, all I'm going to say to this is to invite you to watch my first video when I said the Maverick was wrong. Look at the screenshots that Janelle shared with messages people had sent her, which I called abusive, and make up your own mind. And I'll link the video at the end. He also said this. He said there's a flaky generation we live in. You can't talk loud to a youth now. You can't raise your hand to a youth now. They report you to police and them charge you for child abuse. He said we grow up a generation of soft and flaky kids where the bar for what they call abuse is very low. Everything now is abuse and mental health issues. You have a rough day at the office or at school. You're suffering from mental health issues. You shout, don't cross the road. Car go lick you. And you're going to say, why are you abusing me? He says, and them someday, they're on a ponder too. So where do I start with this? There are so many bad takes and problematic issues in what Tracey has said. Tracey, I don't even know where to start with you on this one. But we have to start somewhere, so let me start with this. Let me start with this idea that, use your words, we're growing up a generation of soft and flaky kids, and if you raise your hand to a child, you're reported for child abuse. Nonsense. In Jamaica, many people, and I'll probably go ahead and say most people, still believe in corporal punishment, still believe that parents should be allowed to discipline, to beat their children by way of discipline without any kind of sanction or problem, right? So in Jamaica, if somebody reports you to police for beating your child, it probably means you need to get locked up. Because usually that only happens when people believe that the child is at risk of serious injury or worse. Our threshold for beating children is very, very high. All right? So I don't understand why we have to argue in extremes. You really think Jamaica was a better place when a parent or a teacher could beat a child, almost kill them without any kind of consequence? And hopefully, because we're now at a stage where that can't happen, then we hear that people like Tracey say, if you raise your hand to a child, you risk being arrested for abuse. Come on, not go so. That's not where Jamaica is. Absolutely not. Some years ago, a senior cabinet minister was taking issue with efforts to end bullying, saying, we're going to make picnic soft. I have to say I do feel strongly about this because people close to me had been bullied at school. So whenever I hear this kind of nonsense, yes, I'm going to call it nonsense, I tend to think it either comes from people who were never bullied themselves or who maybe were the bullies, or who believe that because I suffered, instead of trying to make things better for the next generation, for young people, they believe that no, everybody must suffer the same way them did suffer. Let's put some facts and definition into the conversation, all right? The American Psychological Association defines bullying as a form of aggressive behavior in which someone intentionally and repeatedly causes another person injury or discomfort. Bullying can take the form of physical contact, words, or more subtle actions. Why would we want to take the position that protecting children from abuse is somehow going to make them grow up soft and flaky? Do we really think it's better to have generation after generation growing up with trauma, which is what now happens because Jamaica is stressful for all kinds of reasons? Do we want children afraid to go to school or afraid to be at school because of what happens to them on the way there or there, you know? And a lot of children don't want to talk to adults, whether parents or teachers, about what is happening to them. They hide that. They maybe talk to other children. They're not going to talk to adults. Is that really better? We don't believe we can raise children who are happy and loved, who are protected from abuse, and who can still grow up to be healthy, strong adults. Let's be clear, Tracey didn't use the word bullying. He didn't talk about bullying, right? The word he used was abuse. But for me, it is part of the same mindset and it is related to what we've been talking about. So I am bringing that into the conversation, all right? I'm not saying Tracey spoke about bullying. He didn't use that word. Also, Tracey, your comment about mental health, also a bad take. The reality is our society is better nowadays because we do talk about mental health and because both adults and young people feel that they can express themselves, can describe what they're going through, and can look for help. And we still need more of that, not less. Now, the Ministry of Health says the prevalence of depression in Jamaica in 2016 was 14.3%, or 1 in every 7 persons. Is the word depression overused by people? You know, do people say they're depressed when maybe they mean they're a little sad or they had a bad day, to quote Tracey? Maybe. But this was a poll, though. This was a proper poll saying 1 in 7 persons in Jamaica has experienced depression. In another poll of young people, 31% of young Jamaicans in a UNICEF U-Report poll said Jamaican culture is why mental health isn't taken seriously in Jamaica. 4% said it's because of religion, 41% said because of misconceptions, and 24% said people don't have any information and that's why mental health isn't taken seriously. My concern is that if we continue talking about mental health in this way, making these kinds of comments, it could lead people, and young people in particular, to feel that they have to hide what they're going through. They mustn't look for help because they may be viewed as soft and flaky. And if we do that, we are condemning people, and young people in particular, very worried about them as well, to suffer in silence. Why would we want that? Stigma around mental health issues in Jamaica is real. One study found that the most commonly expressed emotional response to the mentally ill and mental illness was fear, specifically a fear of dangerousness. Now, this is especially so for those with severe mental illness such as schizophrenia, and it often leads to avoidance, rejection, and even victimization. But remember, mental illness isn't just about severe forms like schizophrenia. Depression and anxiety are also forms of mental illness for which people need help and for which they're often afraid to speak up about and also to look for help. In 2019, the Ministry of Health launched a campaign called Speak Up, Speak Now to try to end stigma and to provide a platform for people to share their stories. The ministry said 1 in every 5 young people suffers from mental illness, and in Jamaica, the highest overall prevalence of depression is in the 15 to 24 year age group, the 25 to 34 year age group, and over 75 years. Also, according to statistics in Jamaica today, between 45 and 55 people commit suicide every year based on mental illness. So, I'm saying we need more empathy, not less. So, Tracey, I emphatically reject this idea coming from you that, quoting you, we grow up a generation of soft and flaky kids where the bar for what they call abuse is very low. You say everything now is abuse and mental health issues. You're wrong on that. I think we're growing up a generation of young people who now know that it's okay to talk about abuse and to talk about mental health issues. I think we're growing up a generation of young people who now feel that they can say, hey, I'm having this problem, I'm having a mental health problem and I need help. And they should be able to do that without being stigmatized and judged. Mental health issues are real. Abuse is real. Bullying is real. And they all have very serious effects. And that, Maverick, is why you're wrong again. I'm Dionne. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.